Welcome back. I want to talk to you about a new ES2020 feature that we're ready to learn about. You see, up until now, we've learned about promises. We know what they are. We know how to use things like promise.all, .then to receive promises, to get resolved promises, rejected promises. But there's a new feature in ES2020 that adds to this feature set. So we've learned that in ES6, we got this promise.all. And promise.all, what it did was, well, let's test your knowledge because we learned about this. What will happen if I run this statement? So we have promise1, which is a new promise. And within this promise, we're going to wait with a set timeout 3 seconds, and then we're going to resolve that promise. So promise1 is going to be resolved in 3 seconds. The next promise, promise2, is a new promise that in 3 seconds will actually get rejected. So we have one promise that gets resolved and another one that gets rejected, both in 3 seconds. If I do promise.all and then a .then to console log whatever we receive, do you know what will happen? Pause the video and think about it, and then let's test it out. Going to copy this, paste it, moment of truth. Promise is pending for 3 seconds, and then, uncut in promise, undefined. Now, why is that? We've learned that promise.all only resolves if both promises resolve here. So in order for us to have this work, we have to do a catch statement. So if I do .catch, and in here, let's say console.log, something failed. And we'll log out the error as well. If I now do this again, let's refresh, paste this in, 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, and then something failed. Because promise.all has to have all promises resolve and not throw any errors. But with the new ES2020 feature, we now have something called allSettled. And allSettled, as the name suggests, is a little bit different. This time, if we run this, we wait 3 seconds, and then we have promises returning. One is fulfilled, one is rejected. So what did this do? Well, promise allSettled doesn't care about resolve and reject. Unlike promise.all, which short circuits when any of the promises are rejected or settled, the promise allSettled runs all promises regardless of whether they reject or not. So the promise only comes back when all promises that have been added to it are complete. So for example, if I change this to 6 seconds here and I copy this, even though one of the promises rejects, let me refresh so that we have new variables. Even though the first promise that returns is rejected, it doesn't care. allSettled just checks for 6 seconds until all the promises are returned. So it's a nice new extra feature for those customizations on your promises. Another fun one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.